You are very inappropriate.
I like being inappropriate.
Broadscast is entertaining.
Come on, if I can't mess with you, this is not going to be fun.
Broadscast is thought-provoking.
That is a riveting revelation, Ms. Goldman.
Broadscast is unexpected.
Who do you like better, the person that people think you are or the actual you?
Oh, God.
Because they're nothing alike.
Broad topics, broad minds, broad hosts, but not just for broads.
We are man-friendly.
I hope to be.
I am man-friendly. I can't say the same about Kim. Wait, that sounded bad.
This is Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall.
Well, good morning. We are absolutely official now.
It's official.
It is official.
Broadscast
So real quick, shout out to Jeff McDougall for producing our open there, which I love, and the Nerdy Cougar song he has in the background. That's going to be me, the Nerdy Cougar.
That's a Jeff McDougall original song. So.
Wow. Well,
you
are
a Nerdy Cougar.
You look beautiful for radio.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you showered.
I'm always dressed for radio. Always. So let's get started. So how was your day? I mean, how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh my goodness, I have to tell you, I kicked ass on my meal.
Yes.
I'm allowed. We're allowed to swear.
Are we? All right.
Okay. I kicked ASS on our meal. My dad and my stepmom and my stepsister and the baby and her husband Dylan and the husband Jason came out from Arizona. The husband. And we cooked.
You know that's a sign that you're getting old, right? When you add the. Like kids, they like the beer.
And I like the Twitter.
Yes.
It's me being old.
Yes.
Anyway, so I did really well. I'm really proud of myself. We had a nice time with the family, and my dad and Patty threw a surprise party for me for my upcoming 40th birthday. Oh. So that was fun.
Yeah, and I was not there.
You were not there.
I know.
Yeah. Where were you?
I was in San Jose with my family, with my in-laws, not cooking at all, which was nice, and a nice break, and chilling out.
Right on.
So.
Well, I just want to say welcome to our Broadcast listeners who I know are chomping at the bit to hear our exciting stories and all of our insight and opinions about how fabulous our lives are.
Oh, we have no opinions.
But I just want to remind everybody that, as you know already, you can listen live to our show every Monday at 9 a.m. on the West Coast and noon on the East Coast.
That's right.
You can also you can do that by clicking live on our broadscast.com. Go to the website, hit broadscast.com, and then hit live.
Yes, the live on-air button.
Thank
and
you.
You can also chat there.
Yeah.
You can do. There's a little button. Actually says live chat, and so you can get in there, log in there, and actually ask questions, and we could try to get to those on the air as we go.
And people can email us.
And they can email us
at broadscast.com.
Right. And the other final way is they can call. They can call in.
Right.
Talk about the topics
at 866-404-6519. And if that's not enough, they can also tweet at us, and they can Facebook us.
Oh my God!
I think we need to have like a flow chart of all the different ways that you can. And they can. Do we have a fax anymore? They don't do faxes anymore, do they?
But I think people. Yeah.
All right.
Forget the fax.
Forget the fax.
So. Anyway, so we got all that set. So let's talk about let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Speaking of Twitter.
Yes.
Okay, so you sent me a link this morning. This girl, Emily, right? Emily Sullivan. Emma. Excuse me, Emma.
Yes.
Sorry. Out of Kansas.
Just for the record.
Okay, so we're not going to pull up the article, but this teen in Kansas, she was at a speech for the governor, right?
Well, she went on a field trip.
Right.
And he was doing a speech, and she tweeted that
he sucked.
Yeah.
And he was offended.
Well, the thing is, she said that she said it out loud, which she didn't. So she was tweeting like everybody else tweets, kind of like into the ether, not realizing that anyone's actually paying attention.
Yeah.
And so his people were like scouring the internet for his name and such,
and now
found it, and he's offended. So I think we need to give him a moment of silence for his pain.
But I love that Emma was asked to apologize, correct? Because she was told by the governor's office, or she was requested by her principal or something, that she was rude.
Governor Brownback is hurt, Kim. Yeah. I don't know how you could be so flip.
Yeah.
Somebody said you suck to him, and he's hurt.
Yeah. Well, I just have to say,
governor.
I know, but you know what? This is the state of. I mean, I just think it's funny that this is how we function now. That everything that you say on Twitter, Facebook, everything is now captured and you're held to different standards. I mean, why can't this girl just have an opinion that he sucked? Maybe he did. Did he?
Well, he's a governor. Chances are, every day he does something that someone doesn't agree with.
How about applaud her for having an opinion and applaud her for being able to use her First Amendment right, which is freedom of speech and freedom of twit.
And the fact that she's 18 and interested at all in what the governor says.
Yeah.
Yay, Emma. Yay. So we actually reached out to her.
Right.
And like a good 18-year-old girl, she's in school this morning.
Right.
And so she's not able to talk to us. But you gotta be kidding me. First of all, the apology. I think we should come up with a blanket apology at the beginning of every show, because there's chances are someone's going to be hurt, or I shouldn't say hurt, but offended.
Probably from me, because apparently I'm the least politically correct one of the two of us.
Which is hilarious, because everybody thinks like I'm the outspoken, judgmental.
And I'm the angel.
Actually, I'm not judgmental. Yeah, you're the angel.
I'm the angel. Yeah. But hey, so speaking of, this is going to be a great segue. I want to see how I do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so going from Twitter to Cyber Monday. Dun, 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 the internet.
That?
See? So today's Cyber Monday, which is a made-up term for spend more money
right,
on a
without
Monday.
getting trampled.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it's actually loosely translated as.
Well, so let's just back up for a second. So Black Friday, which is really not even Black Friday anymore, since the sales start now on Thursday.
Right.
So, but Thursday night, after Thanksgiving, some of the stores launched their Black Friday sales early, some of them starting at 11 p.m. But I was really surprised and disturbed at the amount of violence that occurred with all of the sales that were going on, and the people that were pepper sprayed and their cars run into. There was a robbery in up north in California for someone that got a big TV at 1:45. They're held at gunpoint and their TV was taken. A man fell in. I forgot where I said now. An older man was.
Oh, the 54-year-old.
Well, he was beaten, right?
By the police.
By the police. No, but there was a man that fell down. No, there was a man that fell down in Target, and people were trampling over him and left him, and he died. He had a heart attack from all of the. And I have to say that when you spend Thanksgiving being grateful for all the things that you're given, and you spend all day just praising your family and sharing for the month of November all the things you're thankful for every day, and then you say screw it.
Happy Facebook status.
And then you say screw it at midnight because you might be able to save $5, and you pummel each other for an Xbox. I mean, Jesus.
Well, see, now you're good. You're going to get in trouble now.
Why?
For the politically incorrect.
Well, because I think it's disturbing.
It is very disturbing. It is very disturbing. And the fact is, I mean, everybody is like on edge. I don't even understand why anybody goes anymore when you can. Are you really saving that much money? I mean, that's the question I have too. Is like, is it worth even just the craziness? Never mind the danger. I mean, people were lined up on Wednesday,
right,
at Best Buy. Wednesday.
Right.
Like, there is no television, unless that television is going to babysit my kids, give me a foot rub, and make dinner. Right. It is not worth it.
Well, I forget what it was. I actually wrote it down last night. There was the 2008, right? There was a stampede in Walmart, and they killed an employee and put a pregnant woman in the hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
But the Walmart spokesman from New York said the 2011 was safe at most of its nearly 4,000 stores, despite a few unfortunate incidences, which, I mean, for me, it's, this feeling of at a time when our society is so, frantic about money and spending, and there's all this scarcity. I think that when you infuse it with sale, last one, I mean, it provokes this level of intensity and anxiety in people, and it forces them to act out in ways that are, disrespectful and hurtful to others. I mean, I don't know. I think, when we're a country that stops for animals on the freeway, but we pummel each other for Xboxes, I think it's a sad state of affairs.
It really is. And the fact is that, I didn't realize everybody was out there buying Xboxes these days, too. Like, I thought there was a recession.
Well, not when you can save $5. But I think, that's the feeling of hoarding, this whole concept of getting everything you have, and people feeling like they're getting a deal because everyone is, they're counting their pennies. And
Right. Well, I do need the most gigantic television ever to watch football, even though I'm not a football fan, because of the extra stuff that you get to see. Like over Thanksgiving, like when that one football player knocked into the cheerleader.
In the same game.
Which was so much fun.
It was the same game that he pummeled the player and kicked him and pounded his head into the ground.
I didn't see that one. And then on Sunday, one of the San Diego Chargers was caught on the sidelines with his pants down.
Urinating.
Urinating. Oh. But here's the thing. It was the kicker. The kicker is...
He doesn't have time to pee during the game?
That's what I'm saying.
How else
You're
do you
the
use
kicker.
I always wondered that, though. If you're in the middle of the game, where do you pee? It's a long game to have to hold it.
But let's go back to the fact that it's a kicker. You know what I mean? Like, he has no time management skills that he can't figure out another time.
Well, I now know that if you and I have to pee during the show, that all I need is a corner and a towel.
Yes, and then I'll set up a Gatorade. If you give
me a tree, that would be helpful.
Can we get a tree in the studio, please? So, yeah, that was an interesting video that we saw there. And the fact that, like...
Okay, well, yeah. All right, so we can...
Anyway, football, basketball.
Oh, so basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball season is starting again on Christmas Day.
And you like basketball.
I like basketball, and I have to tell you that my Chicago Bulls...
they're yours?
Well, I was raised in Chicago, so we live and breathe by our Bears, Blackhawks, and Cubs, or White Sox if you're on that side of town. But Bulls are playing the LA Lakers on Christmas Day, finally, after I think it was 149 days or something of a lockout. And so they announced over the weekend that they've come to a tentative agreement. And I was reading over the contract of the proposed contract that they're coming to, that they negotiated. And all I read was blah, 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 more money, blah, 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 not enough percentage, blah, 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 extended contract, blah, 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 blah. What did you read?
I didn't read it because honestly,
I just editorialized it for you.
Yeah, like I read like $80 for a ticket and...
Well, it begs the question.
You know, if I haven't watched basketball since Larry Bird stopped playing, so that ought to tell you something.
Well, it begs the question, and we can follow up with this hopefully next week, because I think we've potentially have some good guests lined up for next week's show. But I think it begs the question that during a time, again, we talk about the recession, where everybody is scrambling for every last dollar, that one of our favorite pastimes is watching sports, that we're listening to players and owners complain about the millions and billions of dollars that they're out because of a percentage or two. Now, I obviously don't know all the intricate details of the contract, and I understand that they're entitled to get their salaries. But when I read something that if Kobe Bryant didn't play this season, that he'd be out $25 million.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, if I lost my job, I'd be out of house.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that next week for sure. But coming up, we are talking snooping, and you are so busted. And we're talking to Dr. Carole Lieberman.
Right on.
So we will be right back.
Booyah! That's the word uttered when you know you have the upper hand. Or you're the winner. Well, now we have the Booyah Radio Hour with Martin Bressy. Tuesdays at 9, 8 Central on TogiNet.com. Martin's show is all about helping speakers and authors find their niche, create their brand, and achieve massive success. Each week, Martin will interview guests from around the world who have achieved tremendous success as speakers and authors. You'll find out who they are, what they do, and how you can follow in their footsteps to achieve incredible results. Guests will come from around the world of business, entertainment, finance, the arts, and sciences. Nothing is off topic. No subject too taboo. We'll share valuable information as well as huge laughs as we discover the ups and downs of being a successful speaker and author. The Booyah Radio Hour with Martin Bressy. Tuesdays at 9, 8 Central on TogiNet.com. LinkedIn. It's a great tool, and Carole McManus is the LinkedIn lady. With the LinkedIn Lady Show, Wednesday afternoons at 5, 4 Central on TogiNet.com. The LinkedIn Lady Show is here to show you and your business how every social media site has a specific demographic, personality, and purpose that can benefit you. The LinkedIn Lady will have interviews each week with a variety of guests, such as business owners who will showcase their businesses and talk about how they're using social media to stay in touch with not only customers, but to attract new relationships that become customers. Other guests will be experts in social media who will speak to the use of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google, Plaxo, Squidoo, and of course, LinkedIn. For more on Carole and the show, check out her website, LinkedInLady.com. Join us, won't you? Every Wednesday afternoon at 5, 4 Central. It's the LinkedIn Lady Show with host Carole McManus on TogiNet.com.
You're listening to Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall. Two broads with faces made for radio.
Welcome back. A little bit later in the show, we are going to get to know Kim and Jackie, and we're back. Later in the show, we're going to get to know Kim and Jackie. That's you and me.
Oh, hi.
And people can ask us questions. They can call at 866-404-6519. Email us at broadscast.com, or even ask the questions in the live chat. So if you're on the website, broadscast.com, there's a little button at the top that says live chat. Click on that, and you can ask us questions, and we will try to get to them today in the show. But first, before we do that, let's get to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Kim Goldman. So recently, you took it upon yourself to do a little snooping.
Okay, so I will share I will have my confession very quickly. So basically, I was dating someone for a couple of months, and it was a new relationship, and things were moving very quickly with us, and very intense, and very fast and furious, and so much fun for a young girl who wants to be in a relationship. So anyway, there was the man in my life had told me that he was in love with me. We were boyfriend and girlfriend. He was committed, didn't want to date anybody else, and then suddenly things started to shift, and some of the conversations lagged, and there was some distance, and I was starting to get this weird, creepy feeling. I didn't know what it was, and I approached him on it, and he quelled my fears by telling me that he'd never felt this way before, that he had been thinking about us moving in together, and just all the things that, again, a lovely young lady would like to hear. So I put my fears aside for the time being, but then that little icky feeling in my stomach kept
the one that we actually tell our kids to always follow.
Right, that thing called your intuition in your gut. So I've always historically have been, my gut has never steered me wrong. So anyway, this feeling progressively gets worse, and I had a moment, and in a moment of panic and anxiety, I grabbed his phone. I unlocked it because I knew the code, and I read
premeditated snooping.
I read multiple texts and messages from multiple women over the course of the time that we have been dating.
Ouch.
And he was totally cheating on me. And I sat there with the information, sick to my stomach, that I grabbed the phone, because that's not like me to be a snooper. That's not like me to not trust. But the thing is, I'm so trusting that I believed this person who was literally calling this other woman on his way to my house, making plans with her for the next day, like talking about kissing each other. Like,
wow. While actually at one point out buying you flowers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it begged the question. I sat there, and I did confess to him. I confronted him. He lied, and then I confessed. And the bottom line is, he broke up with me officially because he couldn't get over the fact that I snooped. The fact that he'd been cheating was totally irrelevant. But I beat myself up for days on this.
That's the liar thing is a total different subject.
But the point of this is that I beat myself up, and I talked to a bunch of people about it who all thought that I was totally in the right and thought that my snooping was totally acceptable. So this is what spawned this conversation for us today. And
so when I put it up on Facebook, people were the opposite. They were completely against it.
Yeah.
And so we need an expert here.
So we invited an old friend of mine, actually, Dr. Carole Lieberman, who is a 3-time Emmy Award winner. She's a best-selling author of a book called Bad Girls, Why Men Love Them and How Good Girls Can Learn Their Secrets. She's an expert witness. She has her own radio podcast as well. Anyway, so I believe that we have Dr. Lieberman on the line.
Yes, you do. Hi, Kim and Jackie.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. And actually, my first book fits in this story, too, Bad Boys, Why We Love Them, How to Live with Them, and When to Leave Them. I think you were absolutely in the right. But, your story is so common. I mean, I have heard this countless times, and you were in the right, because let's look at, what if you didn't snoop? If you didn't snoop, you would have continued in the relationship. You would have gotten in, you would have fallen more in love with him, gotten in deeper, and at some point, when it would have become just too obvious to ignore, you would have realized the same truth.
Right. So what do you suggest, though? What bothered me was how badly I beat myself up for doing that.
Yeah.
And had I not done it, I think we talked a little bit about the psychology of lying. The truth is, I believed this man because I was so interested in having this fairy tale relationship that he really probably could have told me anything I wanted to hear. And because people, I mean, for me, I believe that people are inherently good. So because I did approach him and he totally lied. And now when I went back through the text, he was lying at that time too. Right. So, what do you suggest? Instead of the snooping, because I don't want to, advocate for that. But what do you do?
Well, yes. I mean, it's, of course, in an ideal world, one wouldn't have to snoop. And in an ideal world, people wouldn't do that to each other in relationships, lie like that. Mm-hmm. The truth is that when people snoop, they have that gut feeling. That's why they snoop. I mean, it's not okay to just snoop willy-nilly, just for the fun of it. But if you have that feeling and you're sort of desperate to find out one way or the other, and and what's so common is that usually it is the women who snoop, and it's the guys who then get angry at them for snooping,
right?
Thinking that they did anything wrong by cheating on them with all these women. But the anger is sort of a defense because they're caught, so it's like they know it's over. So, there's not going to be a way in most cases that they can, and certainly shouldn't be a way that they can get themselves back into the heart of the woman. So, that's their reaction. They're angry at being caught is really it, and so they blame it all on you when it was their fault in the first place. So it is true that when people snoop, it's because they have that gut feeling. They want to know. They can't stand, just like what you described, they can't stand living with that for indefinitely. And so at some point they want to find out. They hire a private investigator, or they look at the phones, or something like that. And
if they need a private investigator, we've got a girl for them.
I'm not that stealth-like, but I certainly get the information.
She figured out that password like nobody's business. But Dr. Lieberman, can I ask you though, what is the likelihood? All right, so say they're dating 2 months. He is kind of falling for her. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. And what's the likelihood that he would at some point drop all of that extra stuff and actually be a loyal boyfriend? I mean, it was early. At what point are we hey, we were early in on the relationship? Is it because they've had this discussion? Where's the line there?
Well, yeah, that's part of it, where he was saying, he doesn't want to date it. I mean, he's a liar. He's saying he doesn't want to date anyone else, and at the same time, he is just talking about kissing somebody the next day. So, I mean, yes, when it's early in a relationship, I don't think a man or a woman needs to necessarily stop seeing anybody else who they've been seeing until they're sure that this is the only relationship that they want. But if that's what he was saying, and also it's not just, it wasn't just that he was still dating these other people. I mean, it seems like he was telling them the same story, that he was so into them.
Well, it's interesting because I of course read all of the text. I mean, I was very surprised, and my heart was racing, and it was just the whole out-of-body experience that I was having. But part of it, I look back at the history. I mean, again, it was only a couple of months, but when I'm very responsible now, I think, as a dater, because I have a child at home, and I've been down this road for many years. Mm-hmm. And so when I look back and I think of all of the opportunities I gave him to walk, and said, are you sure this is what you want? Are you sure you want to commit? Because this is where I'm at. I'm almost 40, blah, blah, blah. I mean, all of the outs I gave him. And he said, no, this is where I want to be. And then when I confronted him, he said, I met this girl a month ago, and I don't even know if it's going to work out because she's too young for me. I'm like, wait, what do you mean you don't know if it's going to work out? But
I love that he was working out the other relationship through you.
Yeah. But I love the part that he did this over text too. I mean, if that's not coward, I mean, that's like the new Post-it note is texting. Yeah. Anyway, so I guess what my question is, for people that do this, is there another alternative? I mean, I know that we can say, ask your questions and don't snoop, but what do you do with that gut feeling? Because some people, when we Facebook this, some people said go with your hunch and just break up with them.
Well,
and not ask any questions and not find any, just walk away.
No, that's too risky too, because a lot of people who, especially if they've been hurt before, are scared to get in deeper into a relationship, and so if they just at the first hint that maybe there's something wrong, they use that as an excuse to break up. It's really, you have to ask whether that's just your own insecurities making you do this before you can get hurt more. I mean, I don't think you should break up just on a gut feeling. I mean, yes, in an ideal world, you should ask the guy, and you should be honest with each other. The problem is really that in our society, with each generation of divorces, it has made a generation that is more and more afraid of commitment because they don't want to go through the same pain that they saw their parents go through. And so we're really, I mean, when you think about it, years ago when people used to date more, I mean, rather than go out in groups or have more real dates, I mean, there are so many things that just are defenses against developing an intimacy. And so, for example, one defense is dating a lot of people at once, which is kind of, as I said, it's kind of okay at the beginning if you're honest about it. Right. But not if you're going to, see, he wanted your total devotion by luring you in by saying you're the one. And yet, he was totally dishonest about it.
Right. Well, what I also think is interesting with the onslaught of like all of our technology between, every possible avenue between Facebook and Twitter and the internet and all of the stuff that like the fact that anyone thinks that they could get away with it anymore, I mean, there's not too many things. I mean, yes, again, I confess I have the code, but the truth is we all have phones, we all have internet, we all have Facebook. There's so many ways to find out what somebody's doing, and so, I mean, for me, the internet provokes the stalker in me, and all of us, I think, and so it's hard. I think it's hard in some level, especially when you are new back into the dating world to not, do your research and do your investigative journalism on your own. I mean, I don't know how not to anymore. I mean, the internet, it provides us with so many opportunities. Right.
And here's the thing, though. If you have a gut feeling about somebody and that you feel like you're in danger, whether it's, emotionally, physically, whatever, and you don't follow it, you're setting yourself up to be the subject of a Lifetime movie. I mean, that's what it ends
I'm already that.
No, but that, the guy who's got 2 families and this and that. I mean, that stuff happens.
That's absolutely it's true.
We're gonna come back in a minute and take calls, but I also, just real quick before we go to break, do you have the same advice? Like, I mean, I've been married 9 years this week. I mean, I pretty much say to my husband, like, can I see your phone? Like, I mean, we have a pretty open relationship. Like, that to me is not snooping. He knows I know his passwords. He knows my passwords. So I could go into his email at any time. I don't. But I still get insecurities. We all get insecurities. So we'll talk about that when we come back and take calls. So we want to know if people are snoopers themselves. So, if you've ever been caught or caught your partner or just want to talk snooping, give us a call. We'll be right back.
Thinking of buying a home? Then join us for the REO Home Show, brought to you by BLB Resources, HUD Asset Manager for 8 Western states and Michigan, with your host, Ray Warda. Tuesdays at noon Central on the Rockstar Radio Network. REO Home Show will have exciting information regarding the real estate industry, focusing on HUD homes and the great values they offer. HUD Homes offers great benefits to buyers, including owner-occupancy exclusivity bidding periods, amongst many other things we'll discuss. REO Home Show will have some great guests on the panel that will provide excellent information regarding the whole HUD home selling process, as well as marketing HUD homes, plus information on some great FHA lending programs available to buyers. Realizing your piece of the American dream is closer than you think. Equal housing opportunity. For more on BLB and the show, check out blbresources.com. Then join us for the REO Home Show, brought to you by BLB Resources, with your host, Ray Warda. Tuesdays at noon Central Time on the Rockstar Radio Network. Join the Keemer twins, Melody and Marilyn, for Double Trouble Talk Radio every Tuesday night at 9 Central, 7 Pacific on TogiNet.com. They're authors, speakers, entertainers, coaches, and the creators of the Double Trouble Transformation System for Success.
As much as anybody else, oh yeah.
Each highly energized show will feature interviews with celebrities, small business owners, corporate leaders, entrepreneurs, and other special guests sharing valuable insights. You'll learn how successful leaders use doubly effective communication techniques to dramatically increase sales, increase customer retention, increase productivity, and improve employee attitudes. For more on what the twins are up to, check out their website, KeemerTwins.com. Then join the Keemer twins, Melody and Marilyn, every Tuesday night at 9 Central, 7 Pacific on TogiNet.com for Double Trouble Talk Radio.
Okay, you're on, girls.
You're listening to Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall, with topics as broad as their butts. Well, at least Jackie's.
And we're back. Thank you to our voiceover guy.
Yes, we love voiceover guy, though he just made fun of my big old rump.
Okay, so anyway, so just to remind everybody, you can call us at 866-404-6519. And if you have any comments or opinions, or if you have it's a confessional time, I'm not the only one out there that snooped. I cannot believe for 1 second. I actually have a lot of people that did confess to me that they snooped.
Right.
Men, I had a friend that hired a private investigator on his wife, spent $20,000 to find out she was not cheating.
Wow.
Needless to say, she
How much did he spend on the divorce lawyer? Because that's the problem. We're here with Dr. Carole Lieberman. And Dr. Lieberman, my question is, I mean, Kim's talking about that early relationship. And as I said, I've been married 9 years this week. And I trust my husband more than anything. But the other day, Kim and I were actually at a meeting. And all of a sudden, there was my husband. He had stopped to get a cup of coffee before he went to work. And but I saw him unexpectedly. And I just got this, like, that feeling. Which is hilarious because, like, we're good, but when you see your significant other or your spouse, like, outside of where you're expecting to see them and, like, wait a minute, it's this time, he's not at work, like, I think as women, we are all on guard even when we're in good relationships, if that makes any sense.
Well, so is that the first time that, even you said you have snooped?
Oh, is that the first time I've snooped?
No, I mean, so you said you have snooped. You said you asked him if you could look at his telephone.
Oh, yeah.
How long has that been going on?
No, I don't actually. It's so funny. She's like,
She's on the proverbial couch now.
Yes, I am.
Carole. Yeah.
No. What I was saying was I don't snoop, like, secretly check my husband's email. But, like, if he's texting somebody and he's laughing and I'm like, can I read it? Or I mean, if we're having conversation, we're sitting drinking coffee or whatever it is, it's not. I don't know. Maybe that's my insecurities. Well, but he also understands. Like, I can say to my husband, "Wow, I feel like a girl today. Like, I feel insecure. Like, I'm just feeling." And he's totally like, "Oh man, you know better than that." But here you go.
Well, Dr. Carole, where do you draw the line between privacy? I mean, people are entitled to their privacy.
Right. Well, it's just that what my first reaction to what you're saying is, though, why I asked you how long this has been going on, and I understand it's not snooping in the same way, but it seems to me that when this began would be, if you look back, it would coincide with when you started feeling insecure about yourself in some way. Like maybe there was something you didn't like about yourself, and you were wondering if your husband was not liking it, or something. The time frame is important.
Oh, definitely. That stuff. I mean, I'm the first to, like, put my baggage out there. Like when I'm feeling insecure, whether it's professionally or as a mom or as a wife, or that I can't juggle it all, and I'm very hypercritical of myself. So sometimes it manifests in other ways, and I'm sure that my insecurities could come out in the relationship when I'm just not feeling secure in myself.
Okay, and for you and for anybody, both of you, I'm sure know that whether it's a woman or a man, that when we show our insecurities, that is kind of we create what we're afraid of. Do you know what I mean? That it's sort of a turnoff to our partner for them to see our insecurities. I mean, there are times when it's okay to admit feeling insecure about something or other, but at other times, or depending upon what it's about, it can sort of drive the other person away or make the other person think, ooh, she's right.
Right. I mean, it's certainly not an ongoing thing. I'm just saying that, like, if I was in that position, I don't feel like I have to go behind my husband's back and check his email. I feel like I can just say to him, like, wow, I saw you talking to somebody on Twitter or something, and my husband's a musician, and he talks to a lot of people about his passions out there, in the music industry, and I can sometimes tell him, that makes me feel uncomfortable. Or,
but I also think that, at different stages in our life, you have different levels of security and insecurity. I mean, I have a child now, and so my situation with this particular person is that I didn't realize that I had some of these insecurities, and I entrusted myself and my family with this person, and when it shifted on their end, that sparked an insecurity in me that I didn't realize I had. And sometimes I think you do work out your insecurities with the people that you're with. Right. I mean, I don't want to put it on them, but sometimes people do bring out. I mean, part of the reason I got divorced is that my ex-husband brought out the worst sides of me. So I'm very, aware that I don't want to repeat some of those behaviors. And,
Well, we have Jenny on the line because Jenny has a question or a comment about snooping. Jenny, are you there? Are you a snooper?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm a former snooper, now recovered.
Hello, Jenny.
Hello. I'm very against snooping because when I snooped, it completely backfired. And it was about 10 years ago, and I was in a serious relationship, and my boyfriend kept journals, and he asked me not to read his journals. So what did I do? I picked up his journal and read it.
So, but did he not realize that saying, please don't read my journal is like girl speak for, you should totally pick this up and read it one night?
Yes. Exactly. But what I read about all his insecurities about me and how he had feelings about his ex-girlfriend, and I confronted him on it, and it basically backfired because I realize now that everyone has insecurities, and you need to have an outlet, whether it be friends or whether it be a journal or a therapist, to work out those insecurities. And we broke up over it, and I believe now that if I had just respected his space and let it go, that we probably would have stayed together.
Well, wait a second. But the thing is, when someone says it's like, don't throw me in the briar patch, he could have kept those journals somewhere where you couldn't have gotten to them and read them. There was something in him that wanted you to read them for whatever reason, wanted to break up, wanted something. Because there were plenty of places he could have kept them where there's no way you could have gotten to them.
Yeah, he actually kept them on the bookshelves with all his books.
with a big neon sign flashing. Read me.
Next to the Bloomingdale's catalog. My gosh. I mean, seriously, the thing is, I do believe that in a couple, not every thought and feeling that goes through my husband's brain, heart, body should be publicly, or should be mine. He gets to have his own private thoughts and feelings. And if he needs to communicate with a friend through email, because that's the only way they can make it work, and he needs to work out some stuff about our relationship, that's really why I don't snoop. It's not because, I respect him and I trust him, but also I don't want to know certain things. I don't want to be aware of every feeling, because let's be honest, we all wake up after a long time in a relationship and go, oh, it's still you. We just have days,
Right.
And he's entitled to those days, and he's entitled to express those days without my hearing them and making him feel bad about them.
Right.
And making myself insecure over them.
Right.
Forget about the cheating. I know that that's not happening. But, I just wouldn't want to stumble across feelings that aren't so favorable on any given time.
Yes, it's true that it's true for women, too, that we should confide in our friends and work some of these things out as opposed to necessarily telling the guy about them.
Right, absolutely. That's why we have girls, and that's why my husband doesn't really, I don't think he checks my texts, but he, like I said before, my phone is right there. He plugs it in at night. He knows my passwords. So I never say anything. And I've had, exes or reach out on Facebook through private message. So I like that picture.
If somebody snooped on me, I've had that happen before, and I was like, what? Why are you doing that? I was a little offended, but the truth is, I don't have anything to cover up, and so I do think that I understand that people have those curiosities because it's fear. You're putting all of your faith in somebody to love you, respect you, honor you, and it's very scary. It's very scary, and I understand it.
Jenny, can I ask you, do you really, if 100%, do you think that you would still be together today if you did not snoop?
Not 100%, but I think that probably a 75% chance, because we did talk about it at length, and there was just the lost trust there. I totally betrayed his trust. And yeah, I mean, what Dr. Carole said is true. I mean, he left them out in the open, and he was inviting me to look on many levels. But on other levels, I think there is something to be said for totally respecting each other's space and totally earning each other's trust. And you know, if you can't trust someone in a relationship, then you shouldn't be in a relationship with them.
Well, I guess that's good news for me because I'm not.
Well, would you like to give him a public apology? You know, him and maybe the governor of Kansas, whose feelings are really hurt today, too.
This is your confessional, Jenny. Go. You can say thank you. And then we actually have another caller, I think, on hold, too.
Jenny, thank you so much for your call.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Stacy, do you have a confession?
Oh, please. If I had a confession, it might take longer than your radio show.
What do you got for us, Stacey?
Are you for or against snooping?
You know what? I'm really against snooping, and I'll tell you why. When I was 19, my mom, unbeknownst to me, I was at college, she would read my journal. And I would come home on the weekends, and, you know, she would act like everything's fine until she read that I had sex for the first time. And all hell broke loose.
Wow.
So for me, I feel like snooping is, you know, that's your mother, hopefully your most trusted person. So that really changed my life when she did that. I find that's, I'm just really against it. I don't feel like you should ever snoop.
Well, you know, I agree in an ideal sense kind of way. You know, that really people should be able to talk about their questions, like your mother should have been able to ask you, you know, when do you think you're going to be having sex for the first time? Would you like to ask me any questions about it? You want my advice? Do you want to talk about it? You know, and I think maybe it's a little, you know, that's a different kind of thing, parents snooping. I mean, if she was worried that you were into drugs, I don't know. You know, each situation is very different.
Sure, but I'm just saying that started me off. I mean, we all get our base from somewhere, right? Now I'm a 40-year-old, a 29-year-old married woman with 2 children, and I'm just saying that was my baseline for snooping.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, even if my husband was getting it on with several people, what is snooping going to help? What's the point of that? What's the point?
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is,
you know, and if I snoop into it, is that going to make any difference? No.
Well, it depends it depends. If you found that he was getting it on with lots of people, would you divorce him or would you want to stay in the marriage?
Oh, please.
Oh, why don't we hold on to that answer? Because I think in a couple seconds here we're going to break, aren't we?
Yes.
So if you have more things you want to say, give us a call at 866-404-6519, and we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to be a rock star. Get ready to rock with Rock Talk and Craig Deswald, and learn how to achieve rock star status in your industry. Every Tuesday afternoon at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com. Craig Deswald is the creator of the Rockstar System for Success. Craig will share easy tips and strategies on how entrepreneurs and businesses can use outside-the-box marketing strategies to stand out from their competition. Each high-energy show will feature interviews with celebrity rock stars as well as business rock stars. For more on Craig, the show, and the Rockstar Marketing Boot Camps, check out the website, CraigDeswald.com, so you can learn how to be perceived as an expert and celebrity in your field, so more people come to you to buy your services and products. Then, get ready to be a rock star with Rock Talk and Craig Deswald. Tuesday afternoons at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com. Thursday nights, get ready for the Read My Lips Tips for Success radio show with your host, Linnea Millette, at 11:10 Central on TogiNet.com. What are the Read My Lips Tips for Success? Well, it's spelled out like this. R, realize it is possible. E, embrace all relationships. A, advance through adversity. D, develop your significance. M, manage your health and wealth. Y, yield to your natural abilities. L, listen to your heart. I, invest in yourself. P, persist by taking small steps. And S, serve others. Each week on the show, you'll find a safe haven whereby tips, insights, and strategies are shared by Linnea and her guests. Go to Linnea's website, readmylipstips.com. Then join us Thursday nights at 11, 10 p.m. Central for the Read My Lips Tips for Success radio show with your host, Linnea Millette, on TogiNet.com.
You're listening to Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall. Broad topics, broad minds, broad hosts.
And we are back. This is Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall, as voiceover guy just so kindly instructed you.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, that voice.
Informed you. Mm-hmm. So you can give us a call at 866-404-6519. Again, 866-404-6519. Every show we're taking calls. We're on Mondays at 9 a.m. on the West.
Noon Eastern.
The East Coast always gets the first, so we're West Coast. So noon Eastern, 9 a.m. on the West.
And you can email us too. Sorry, Jackie. You can email us at broadscast.com.
Especially if you have a topic that you feel passionate about, or an opinion, or even if there's a cool broad in your life that you want to nominate, because we're kind of going to be featuring some cool broads in some upcoming shows. But back to...
so before we left the break, Stacey, you were asked by Dr. Carole Lieberman if there was a difference between parent snooping and spouse snooping, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Stacey, what do you think? Do you think there's a difference? Or Dr. Carole, do you have an opinion about whether or not there's a difference?
Well, it does really, it is different. It does really rock your world in a bad sense. If you find that your parent who, as the caller said, you trust your mother, you trust the most, or you should be able to trust the most, and then you find out that she's done that. Parents, just like boyfriends and girlfriends and husbands and so on, in an ideal world, people shouldn't lie, and if people have questions about a relationship or about what their child is doing, or they should ask the person and judge from that answer whether they feel reassured or whether they feel there is something to be concerned about. And I think with parents, only if it's, I don't know that there is really a time when a parent could or should snoop, except I guess the one thing that I'm thinking of is if they're suspecting that their child is on drugs or so on, but then you can take the child to a doctor and give them a drug test. That is hard to break that. Once you break the trust in a parent, it does affect the way that the child or the teenager relates to the rest of the world, because it's like, I can't trust anybody.
Right. Well, here's the thing, too, though. Stacey, you were 19.
Right.
My kids are little, so I may regret this one day. But if I can go until 19 before this all goes down...
Well, she don't know that it's... I know my father's listening, and I am sure that my father has been able to crack open my bare diary from when I was 10 years old. I mean, it's not that hard.
Right. But I'm just saying, she was 19 when she... Kids these days, and the stuff you hear, the parties and
it just means that's when I found out. That's when it was big enough for her to tell me she was snooping. Who knows when she started?
It's interesting because was there a reason why she didn't trust you, or do you think she might have just felt left out when you were 19 or a teenager, that you were sharing more with your friends than with her, which of course is appropriate, but
I think when you're 19 you go off to college, I was living in the dorm. That's probably part of it, but I was like, listen, it's a long story, but my two brothers were in the drug world. I was goody two-shoe. So why she chose to snoop on me is pretty funny. But all I'm stating is, for me, I think that's the basis of where I come from, and I think that we learn trust from our parents. We learn all these things. So my parents were amazing. I would never, listen, she could snoop all she wants because she was an amazing and still is an amazing mother. But for me, because that was done to me, I feel like... this is how I feel. I have a lot of women friends out here. I feel like I know some of their husbands are cheating, and they know some of their husbands are cheating, as a side note. But they know from watching, from listening, from seeing. I mean, I don't think you might have to snoop at the end of the day to assure yourself to 100% no.
Right.
But everyone's got red flags, people.
Yes.
Come on. Look at the red flags.
Yes.
Well, but again, I'm not defending or, insulting myself, but there were the red flags. I couldn't put my finger on what they were. And, some of that, it's unfortunate when you're getting to know someone, you're also getting to know who you are in a new relationship. And so in some ways, it's like nothing, it's all bets are off. And it's, Stacey, I don't know how long you've been married, but you had years, I'm assuming you said you had 2 kids. So you've got years ahead of me in my 2-month relationship. And so I think, I'm not justifying what I did. I feel terrible. I'm a big idiot for doing that. But had I not done it, I'd be I'd be having my own test.
Right.
This year.
But don't you think, Dr. Carole, don't you think that red flags are kind of subjective?
Well, first of all, if you're married to someone, you're living with them every day, it's a little easier to spot the red flags than when you're just dating and they, are away from you for a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. But, there are, of course, those are the red flags that you, Kim, were reacting to. So, yes, we all have to be on the lookout for red flags, even in friendships. Just, sometimes there are people, things turn out to be not the way, or in business, things turn out to be not the way that you were trusting them to be.
Jackie, you should change your passcode.
And it's sad that our world is becoming more like that. That's why, each time that we can be our own honest, authentic self, we're adding one more person to the world, who's not going to do these kinds of things.
Right. Well, Stacey, thank you so much for your call. We really appreciate it.
Okay, and I would just very quickly would like to just do a disclaimer. For all of my future boyfriends, I am not a
all
snooper.
of them?
Yes, because we know I'm not very good at this, but for the future ones, I'm not a habitual snooper, just PS.
So we are going to get a guy's opinion here a little bit. So we have Craig on the line. Craig, welcome to Broadscast.
Well, thank you, ladies. How are you doing?
We're doing
how are you?
Well. How are you?
I'm great. I get
long-time listener, first-time caller, right?
Long-time listener, first-time caller, correct.
So what do you got? Are you a snooper? Have you caught somebody snooping?
I am definitely not a snooper, and my wife and I aren't snoopers, but if she was to look at my text, I would not care at all, and if I was to look at hers, it wouldn't be a big deal. We are both open books, and I believe that both should be wide open for such discussions.
So will your wife be listening to this when we wish you a very happy 50th birthday? Because people don't realize, Craig, you are the founder of the Rockstar Radio Network, which has launched today.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Hey, so you're Team Kim. Thank you.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, happy birthday, Craig.
Thank you. I feel 20.
Of course you do, and you look 20, which is amazing that you worked in that that rock and roll world for so long, and you're standing upright at 50.
Hey, but that's a good question, Craig. You were in the entertainment world, and you were traveling a lot with Guns N' Roses and whatnot. Were you with your
and whatnot would be Air Supply?
Yes, it was. At the end of the Guns N' Roses tour, my wife and I were engaged to be married, and then we got married after the Guns N' Roses tour, and like I said, I was a total open book. I had toured with Air Supply for 6 years, and I had been on the road with Guns N' Roses, so I had already sown the oats, as they said.
Right.
So, but when I met Natasha, I had a real connection, and I at that time I said, you know what, I'm done, and I don't need to do this anymore. And we had, we still went to strip clubs, and we still did those Guns N' Roses type of things. But I told her all about it, and I was very honest, and because of that, I think we have a great relationship because we are both open books, and if she wants to look at my text, there's nothing that I'm hiding, so it's no big deal to us.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for creating this great network, and we're proud to be on it.
I'm proud to have you on it. Good luck for the rest of the run.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
We've got Sarah on the line. Sarah, are you going to talk snooping with us?
Yes, I am a daughter of a non-snooping mother, and my husband is a son of a extreme snooping mother.
Oh.
And that process...
I love the way you phrase that, and you didn't say my mother-in-law is a huge snoop. I'll say it for you.
My mother... Oh, my goodness. It was so bad that he would have concerts he wanted to go to, and he would cut a hole in the bottom of his mattress. And his mother, when he would leave for school, would rip his room literally apart and pull everything out. Everything. He once left his wallet sitting on his bed, and he got down the street, came back, and she was sitting on it and had every scrap of paper scattered across his bed.
Oh, wow.
So in all things, it's funny because I'm not a snooper. I've never, sometimes you just run across stuff that people leave out, and you're like, hey, what is this? You just ask.
Right.
It's always given him this.
Like a diary on the bookshelf?
Like he's always been slightly scarred by it, where he's like, are you snooping? But I'm not snooping. There's nothing here. So in a way, people snooping, especially on your children, creates sometimes further problems that you don't even realize.
Yes,
I think you're helping them out then, but possibly is hurting them later.
Yes.
So it is hard sometimes, though, because, like, I'll run across little things, and I'm like, what is this? And you'll just have a receipt that's just kind of thrown on their desk. But the biggest thing is just being able to ask them, like, what did you buy? Why is their $1,300 gone?
Well, I think, maybe Dr. Carole, you can elaborate a little bit. I think that, I have an 8-year-old son at home, and I try to express to him, that he has the freedom to say whatever he wants, but he can also learn how to keep things private. And I think that's difficult for us to teach our children, but also to learn as adults. Like, what I don't have to regurgitate every thought in my brain. I'm entitled to keep some things private, but how do you teach that early on so that as we grow up as adults that you learn that balance?
Yes, well, it is all a matter of building trust. I agree that children should grow up with the idea that it's okay to keep certain thoughts or certain things private as long as they're not something that would hurt them in the future, like drugs, or would hurt you by them not telling you something. But yes, it is a fine line between teaching them what is okay to keep private and what isn't. But it all has to do with developing a trust so that they know that if they have a problem, whatever it is, that they can come to you with it and that you won't get angry or you won't punish them or you won't, react like that, but that you'll help them with the problem. And then that way, people won't have to snoop into diaries and so on because you're developing a child who's going to tell you these things.
Right. But I also think there's something to be said for teaching them not to write everything down and technology. I mean, that's a whole other subject, the technology. But, it's okay to have private thoughts in our heads and not share every single one of them in a place that is out there.
Oh, yes,
so
absolutely.
If you don't want to be snooped on or you don't want someone to uncover some deep, dark secret, don't be texting it, I mean,
well, that's where right now my son, he is 7, and he wrote down on his homework at the itty-bitty bottom, and then he erased it. He wrote down words like he wrote sex, a few other words.
Oh, Sarah, we're gonna get into that definitely another show with the kids. But we wanted to say thank you because we are running out of time. Dr. Carole Lieberman, thank you so much. Sarah, thanks for the call and all the calls. It's been a great premiere episode.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Carole.
And you can always find us on broadscast.com for more information. See you next time.